Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm Paige, this is Seeking Alexandria, and I'm beyond excited. So today we have a foundation review, and we're gonna get there in just a second. But before that, if you're wondering, like, Paige, what's that shimmering, sparkling gorgeousness on your eyelids, and you're curious at all about the Colourpop launch where they did the pressed glitters and the pressed pigments recently, I will go ahead and link this up here, because that's what's on my eyes. We're checking it out. You will have already seen it, but if you missed it, I'll link it, and girl, so pretty. But moving on to today's video, like I said, foundation review. I'm so excited because this company, Nabla Cosmetics, and I apologize if I'm saying that wrong, Nabla, I feel like it's Nabla Cosmetics, but either way, if I'm getting it wrong, I apologize. But before I even dive into the foundation, the launch, we put it on, anything like that, I want to talk about this company and the fact that, in my opinion, they did what all other companies need to follow suit on when they released this foundation, which they did release a liquid foundation as well as a new powder, which we will be playing with today as well. But when they released this, they didn't just release it in the standard 1 fluid ounce, which is literally, I'm just like opening my drawers, literally every single foundation when it launches, it's the normal size, the standard size for foundation, and that's what every company puts out. They did put out these 1 fluid ounce bottles. However, do you know what else they did that I'm diehard obsessed with? They gave you an option to purchase it differently, and this is how I bought it, just because I thought this was the most brilliant thing in the entire world. Instead of buying just the full-on 1 fluid ounce, you're done, it's over, they offered you this, which was a bundle deal for, I believe it was just over $30. Their site is in euros, so it's all converted over to American dollars for me, but this little bundle right here is $30, or again, right around $30, and you could get a little sample of yours, which isn't really a sample, it's 0.3 fluid ounces, which is a third of a regular bottle, and their foundation buffer brush in a bundle, or you could buy the regular full-size foundation, which is the same color, what have you, just in a full fluid ounce for, I believe, just over $29. Now, I know for some of you this would not be the ideal option, but I just wanted to throw it out there that I absolutely love that they included this as a choice, because how many times do we end up with a foundation, a full fluid ounce of foundation, that we can't use for whatever reason? We don't like the way it sits on our skin, maybe it irritated our skin, maybe the shade is wrong, whatever. And that's why I love that they offered us this combo right here, because at the end of it, no matter what, I won't have to feel like I'm wasting a ton of foundation, and even if I don't like it or I choose not to repurchase, I do have a brush out of the deal, which I will say this brush feels really soft. It has a really nice fluid feel to it. It doesn't feel scratchy at all. It is smaller than like a traditional blending buffing foundation brush, but I feel like this would be really good to like get into the nooks and crannies with. So either way, I'm super excited. We're gonna dive in, but I just wanted to throw that out there that they do have this as a choice on their website, and I think it is honestly the most brilliant thing I've ever seen. So just if you were curious, this is the option. Now, this is plastic, so something to consider there. The packaging itself isn't super luxurious, but again, it makes sense given what it is. Now, as far as the full size, I can't vouch for that. I don't know if it's bigger, if that one is plastic as well. I would assume it is, because this one is a plastic component, but that's just an assumption. The full size is a 1 fluid ounce bottle, and it retails for, hold on, I did all my little conversions here. Right, I pulled up my screenshots, and it looks like the full fluid foundation, the full 1 ounce, is $25.90 in euros, or approximately $29.27 in US dollars. The kit right here that I just showed you with the brush and the sample size is 27 euros, or $30.51. The powder right here, which we haven't talked a ton about, is 22 euros, or $24.86 US. Okay, prices out of the way, we're gonna look up the details of this foundation. The first thing I want to throw out there is that they only released 20 shades of foundation, but the shade range itself actually looks pretty inclusive. You can probably see it pretty well there. I feel like it has a very nice array to it. The gradient goes quickly, but it goes inclusively. It goes very pale all the way to a very nice deep skin tone coverage, and I love that. This is a great example to me of what it looks like to say, all right, we're only going to release 20 shades, but we want to make sure it's even, so we're going to go very fair, medium, and deep, and I love that. I think it's very nice, much more inclusive than some of the brands we see here in the US that will release 30 shades, but like they're all pasty, or they're all tan, or they're 50 shades of beige, or whatever. So I really like the shade range. Now, obviously, I don't have them in person to look at, and I haven't seen any swatches as far as what they look like on people's physical arms, but as far as the models they used and what I'm seeing on their site, the skin tone inclusivity, it does look to be pretty good. So moving on to the actual details of the foundation. foundation here. It says this is a weightless foundation that evens out complexion in a seamless second skin perfection. Thanks to its exceptional blendability, it smooths the skin in just one touch for an incredible soft focused effect. The innovative texture with a medium buildable coverage and a super adherent film gives a long-lasting luminous matte finish suitable for all skin types and available in 20 different shades. Vegan and cruelty-free, coated microparticles blur imperfection and recreate skin's natural radiance, formulated with a high-tech copolymer that provides a soft and fluid texture with excellent blendability. Wow, that is a mouthful. It's very interesting that it says medium buildable coverage, a super adherent film. I never hear that talked about. Basically, they're saying it's going to grip to the skin really nicely. Now, I did pick up the shade L40, which is the 4th shade in the collection based off of what I could find. I didn't want to go too light, but I also didn't want to go too deep. So I'm hoping that this is a decent match. It looks like it'll be a little deep, but big shocker there. And anytime I do a foundation review, I prime the two halves differently. So on this side, I have Tatcha Silk Canvas, and then on this half, I went in with the Smashbox Primer Oil right here. I wanted to have two different options. I like options. One that's more pore-filled, one that was more luminous, nice, hydrated kind of feel, just to see how the foundation reacts to both sides. So I'm going to take their brush, and I'm going to start applying after I locate a mirror. Let's just dip in here. I didn't take too much on the back of my hand just because I wasn't sure how dry it would get. But let's go ahead. Oh yeah, that's a lot more orange than I'd anticipated. Okay, all right, that's fine. They didn't add a ton of fragrance, which I am definitely fine with. And I'm just buffing this into the skin. This brush actually doesn't make my skin itch or get irritated, which is awesome. I've talked about this briefly in a couple other videos, but a lot of times when I go in with a foundation brush, I can never use them because they will make my skin itch so bad. And this brush doesn't. It's really nice and smooth on the skin. Yeah, this brush is really nice. Wow, I'm impressed. The only other brush that I've ever had any luck with was the one from Jeffree Star when he did his collab with Morphe. And of course I can't find it, but that's the only other brush that I've ever tried for foundation that doesn't make my skin itch. And this one's really nice. And it's nice and small, so you can really work it in around your nose, which is nice. This is actually a good technique if you want to ever buff the foundation into your pores. You can do this in little circular motions, and it helps fill your pores up better with foundation so they don't stick out and look all kind of crazy. So I went ahead and I zoomed you guys out just a freckle. I'm not having much luck with natural light right now or my beauty lights for some reason, so I feel like zoomed in you were getting very, very orange, and yes, it is orange on my skin, but it's not nearly as orange as it was looking, so hopefully this will help. Now, as far as coverage goes, I'm going to say it is like a standard medium. I'm going to try to build it up a little bit though with this brush here. Wow. Oh, and it's oxidizing. Look at that. That's fresh versus what was already on my skin. Oh girl, she's oxidizing. Okay. I'm not seeing the coverage build up very much, which is kind of annoying. I had kind of hoped that it would build, but they did say in their description that it was buildable to a decent high medium coverage, so I'm not mad at it. I just wish I could get a little bit more out of it, you know, because you can still see like all of my hyperpigmentation popping through. Okay, so now on the other side, I'm going to grab my Fenty Beauty sponge, which is my favorite sponge of all time. This is so good. And we're just going to start applying some of this, see what our coverage looks like, all of that good stuff. And I also want to throw out there, if you happen to see a bunch of glitter on my face, I apologize. I am factoring that in for this review. But when I was going through and swatching for this other video, the Colourpop video, I was having one hell of a time with that glitter. It was going all over the place. And it's not the glitter's fault. It was just, I think it ended up on like a wipe or something I was using, and then before I knew it, it just colonized all over my face. So pretty much what I'm saying is I'll be covered in glitter, and so will my beauty studio for the next 25 years, because you all know how glitter works, right? Like once it's out and about, it's there for life. Okay, so I'm having a hard time getting this to stick to my nose. For some reason, it just will not stick down, and I'm not sure why it's doing that, but like no matter what, I keep going in, dabbing it on, and it'll sit there, but as soon as I go to like press it into the skin, it just will not stick. And it won't stick on both sides. It's not just the oil side, it's not just the Tatcha side, it's both sides. I think as far as which side I like better, I do feel like the Fenty side is sitting into the skin a lot better. Wow, I look really Oompa Loompa orange right now. Another issue I'm having is building this foundation up on top of itself. It's very sticky, and I'll try to see, like, let me press and then pull. Can you kind of see? Hold on. You see how it's pulling right there? Watch. My cheek is kind of going, like, catching on it. Let's try it on this side. There we go. Every time I'm like pouncing my foundation in and it catches like that, it's actually removing foundation, and you can probably see right through here where I just showed you guys that it was sticky. I actually have a lot less foundation in this area, which is making it very difficult to build just because, again, very sticky and it keeps lifting up on itself. I am going to try one more time here to go in with some of this foundation and my Fenty sponge, and I'm going to build it up a little bit over this area. And I'm just going to give it one more try. Like, look at how much lighter that even is on the beauty sponge versus what it has oxidized to on the sponge. Isn't that crazy? Like, look at this. Look at how much deeper it has oxidized. Holy, that's like 4 shades. Wow. Okay, definitely go lighter because, girl, it's going to oxidize hard on your skin. Okay, so from here, I'm just gonna try and use some concealer and try to see if we can fix this at all. And I'm gonna be going in with my Tarte Shape Tape in Porcelain Beige. And this might not be the best decision because this is my normal everyday concealer. Look at how light that is. Oh dear God, okay. And just so you guys know, I had to flip my Fenty sponge over because this side right here is so sticky with that foundation that I can't use that side to blend anymore, which is also very weird. I never have that happen. So just so you know, weird things are happening over here. I chose my Tarte Shape Tape, A, because I use it all the time, so I'm very familiar with it, but also because this is on the more matte side when it comes to concealers. So I thought maybe it would work nicely with this matte foundation. And I don't think anything is going to work nicely with this foundation. I don't know why this won't work on me, but nothing will stick to it. Even this concealer doesn't want to blend and buff in with the foundation, which is so bizarre to me because literally my Shape Tape blends with everything. And don't get me wrong, it looks okay, I think, on the monitor on camera, but in real life, I'm just like, not looking good. I also just want to throw out there, I just ran a little bit of that Tarte Shape Tape onto my nose and it stuck just fine to my nose. So it's definitely the foundation that won't stick because the Shape Tape covered it up, no issues at all. Okay, so we're ready to go ahead and start setting the concealer, but I just want you guys to know I am having a very difficult time with this foundation. Not only did I have to use a lot of it, it will not stick where it needs to stick. You guys have heard me, you know, kind of complain on and off this whole time about what it's doing and what it's not doing, but I'm having a really difficult time with this. And I think what I want to do, because I do want to test out their powder, it looks really beautiful. I love the packaging, everything about it seems really nice, but I'm really concerned about being unfair to it. So I think what I want to do, actually I like that shade a lot. I think what I'm going to do is I want to try this out on one half of the face first, just to see if I like it, if I don't like it, and then I'll figure out what to do with the other side after that. But this does feel very nice. They did release 3 shades of this powder, and it feels so, so good on the skin. And who knows, it might actually, there it is right there on my hand. This is like my perfect skin color. This might lighten the foundation a little bit too, which would definitely help. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think use this to set the under eye. Yes, let's give that a try and see if it's good for that. We're gonna kind of just test it out in every way, face and under eye. So I'm just gonna grab my little Marc Jacobs, the conceal brush. I love using this for the under eye, and I'm going to press into this powder here, kick it off, and I'm going to pat out my under eye creases real quick, which, oh girl, my skin looks disgusting. It looks so old and crepey. Oh my God. This looks so bad, guys. This is bad. Okay, let's go ahead and just set the under eye and pray. Pray a lot. And guys, look at how bright this is in pan, and I feel like it actually made my forehead darker and my under eye darker. How is this possible? Like, I don't understand. But to move on and set the rest of my face, I'm going to take my powder puff sponge here, and I'm just going to lightly collect some right here, work it off on the back of my hand, work off any excess. And then I'm going to set the rest of my face. Okay, so after setting just this one side, I feel like the powder is really helping the foundation out. Again, I still don't have the coverage that I would like, ideally, because it wouldn't stick to everything. But for the most part, I do feel like it's settling down a lot nicer. It also, the foundation really clung to like this region of my face, which is where I have all of my hyperpigmentation and my acne coming through. All right, so this kind of clinches it for me because I'm looking at this powder right here, and I'm looking at my Maybelline Fit Me in 05 Fair, and don't get me wrong, the Maybelline could, in theory, be a little bit lighter and a little bit brighter, but not so much so that I can see a difference even in the monitor. Like, this is the Maybelline side, and I feel like it looks so much brighter, and you can even tell on camera. The under eye looks brighter, everything is so much brighter, and the reality is this powder, I feel like all the brightness just went away. And again, I can't tell if that's the foundation, I can't tell at this point what it is, but it looks so much darker on this side than with this powder than it does with the Maybelline. Like, it's crazy to me, the difference. So that's definitely something to consider. I'm gonna go ahead, finish up the rest of my face, give this a moment to sink into the skin, and finish up the other video, the eye look, all of that. And then I'm gonna come back on here. We're gonna keep looking at it after it's set, after it's had a little while to kind of acclimate to the skin, and we will go from there. So hang tight and I will be right back. All right, you guys, I went ahead, I finished up the rest of my face, the eye look, all of that. And again, for what's in that, you can check out the Colourpop video. But I do want to talk for a second here about this foundation. It doesn't look awful, but it definitely doesn't sit on the skin like I'd pictured it would. I think on camera it's looking very, very nice, which again, that's why we're going to visit natural light here in a second. And before I go any further, yes, I do see the mascara that's right here on my face. Guys, I didn't just tap myself with the mascara wand, I literally drug it across my skin. So there is no fixing that. It is what it is. Now that aside, let's go ahead and talk about this foundation, because I'm a little bit bummed out. I feel like it's not settling into my skin as well as I would like. And the real kicker for me is like the porous areas right here. In real life, they look very emphasized, pretty accentuated. On the monitor though, I do look nice and smooth and like blurred out. Now we are gonna go ahead and, like I said, jump over to a little bit of a more natural situation in front of a light and hope that we can have something come through from that. My biggest issue so far with this foundation is just that all the good stuff that they talked about on the website, whether it's the finish or the blurring effect or the adhering or whatever, I feel like it's only doing it on camera. Like on camera, my skin looks gorgeous, especially right through here. Like it has a really nice luminous matte finish like what they were talking about, but in real life, none of those things are translating. I look textured. I had a really difficult time with that sticky situation and like getting things to grip on top of it, which I figured out they were talking about how they had an adhering layer in there or whatever it was, a gripping layer. That's why it was sticking to itself every time I was trying to press it into the skin. And it's little things like that that I think are just fighting with my skin. Maybe they only fight with mine because I do have such bad texture and super emphasized pores. I'm not sure, but nonetheless, let's go ahead and jump over to natural light so we can give this just one more look before we wear it and come up with a final conclusion. Okay, you guys, so I told you I would find natural light, give you an update on this foundation, and I've been wearing it at this point for about 2 hours. And here's my issue. In natural light coming through right now, it is being definitely flattered more so than it was in the studio. It looks very, very smooth, which is so ironic because in real life, whether it's in the studio or in here, it actually looks very textured on my skin. And I kept hoping that it would just like meld in and become one with it. And the reality is this foundation, for whatever reason, is just not having it. Through here, it does look very thick and chunky. Now, do I think this is something you'll necessarily be able to see? Probably not. I just wanted to show it to you guys in natural lighting so you could see with me what it looks like. The texture up through here, I think you can see it pretty good on this side. Whenever it gets hit with the direct light like it is right here, it's a lot more flattered. But if you look over here, while I keep that side completely still, you can see the texture that I'm looking at right through here. It's just causing me so many issues. And I wish it wasn't. Like, I wish that wasn't the case. I really wanted to love this foundation. But truth be told, I'm just having so many issues with it. Now, of course, I will be wearing it here for a hot minute. So I'll do another check-in, see what we think at the end of it all. But just so you guys know, this is how it's looking. I'm having a lot of issues with it at this time. It could smooth out. It could prove me wrong. But for right now, this is what she looks like. And I will check back in with you guys at the end of the day and see how it wore. Okay, you guys, so I have been wearing this foundation on my face for about 8 hours now. And I definitely have some thoughts. Sorry, I sound super groggy. I'm very tired. Editing is just kicking my booty tonight. But here's my overall thought and opinion. Now, once the day progressed and it ended up settling into the skin, did it look awful? No, I do think that it ended up improving overall in appearance, but I still take a huge issue with a couple factors. Number one, I still don't like how mattified and emphasized my pores look. Like right through here, I just feel like it looks very stuck down and matted onto the skin. And what I don't love about that is that this was originally called and spec'd out to have a luminous matte finish. And at no point really did I see that luminous matte finish. And I feel like the other thing they spec'd out was that adherent layer, which I've talked about that several times in this video. And I don't think it was beneficial. I could understand like not wanting it to slough off the skin, but the fact that I couldn't press it in, it continued to lift and remove itself. And even like down around my nose, on the nose, and through here, I still can see little pieces of my skin peeking through right down here. And I have a huge issue with that. So overall, do I think this is probably my foundation? No. The other issue that I have with this foundation is the oxidizing. Now, was it exactly my shade to begin with? No, but it oxidized way too far. I can understand sometimes a foundation might oxidize a half a shade or so. That happens, you know, when it mixes with your skin, whatnot. But this one, you guys saw when I was applying it, this was easily 2 to 3 shades deeper than it should have been on my skin, which whether that's this foundation that I'm wearing or somebody else picking it up, I just don't like it when foundations go that drastic in one way or the other because it makes it very, very difficult to pick your foundation. Now, I do think there are some pros to this foundation launch. I do like the fact that they released a decent shade range. I feel like for 20 shades, at least it is an inclusive 20 shades, which is fantastic. I love the way, like I told you guys in the beginning of the video, how they allowed you to get a third of a size of the bottle plus the brush. I really like that because it gave me a chance to play with not only their brush, but also to get a little less foundation, see what I think, and purchase it in a more, not even economical way, but in a way that's going to create less waste, which is really, really nice. I don't know. For me, I don't think this was my foundation. If I were to try and mix it again, probably the Dior's Forever Skin Glow would be the only option because I need some smoothing and some luminescence. So I could try that, but honestly, I just don't think it's one that I would reach for. But that is it, you guys. Thank you all so much for watching. Please don't forget to go down below. Check me out on Instagram and on Twitter. I do Skincare Saturday/Sunday over on my Instagram where we talk first impressions, we do masks, we talk ingredients, we talk about skincare, the love of it, and how we can make it always look better. So definitely click the links and click follow down there. And if you haven't done so yet, you can also subscribe to this wonderful YouTube channel right here where you're sitting because I upload 5 days a week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. They go up bright and early between 6 and 7 a.m. my time here in Northern Michigan. And nights like tonight where I'm staying up and I'm trying to make it happen, it's because I'm going to see you guys in a couple of hours with a fresh cup of coffee ready to face the day. So don't forget to subscribe if that's your thing. And if you like 5 videos a week here, like I said, you'll want to check out Instagram because that's where you get basically a 6th video. It's going to go up on IGTV. So you guys, that's it. Thank you all so much for watching. Please do not forget to have a great day, night, weekend, whatever it is when you're watching this, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Now for today's, oh my God, my nose itches on the inside and I literally can't focus on anything else. And on this half, I went in with the Smashbox primer oil. If you're looking at me and you're like, Paige, what the hell you got going on in your lids, girl? Did you go to Coachella? No, but I have been reviewing the Colourpop collection, their newest one.